Hey guys, after some tweaking, kind of close. So that's without it, and that's with it. I'm pretty close. Here I had to stretch to make this curve, and then if all I did was stretch, it would make a C shape that way. What I had to do to follow this is shrink here so it could curve this way. You see that? And that's pretty close. All right, I'm going to show a little bit of in-depth here. For example, I want this to go that way a little bit, and I want this curve to continue. So I'm gonna stretch it right here. See the little gap? It's a good sized gap here. I'm gonna stretch it here, and it'll make this actually go that way. So then I'll have to shrink it here to make it come back. But I just want to make this get a little closer. I guess it's close enough, and I can just hammer it there. That might be close enough there. All right, what I might do is I'll just shrink it. I'll shrink it a little bit here, and let's see where it goes. So I'm gonna put my finger on it. Quick little stretch, and like I said, it makes it move this way. So now this is butting up. You see how it's contacting here? Don't let it go all the way. So what I'm gonna do is right about here where my thumb is, I'm gonna shrink it so it can come back this way. And that makes it slide a little bit that way. I still want it to slide a little bit more. So it's contacting here. I'm gonna shrink it right here. Right there. All right, a little bit more refining, but that's pretty good right there. You can see that. Now, let's see. You can see the side here. There's a little bit of a gap. Actually, that's pretty good right there, but you can see there's a gap here. And what I want to do is bend this to where it kind of does like a little S shape. And you're able to do that with a shrinker stretcher also. What I'm going to do is right about here, I'm going to stretch, and it'll make it go this way. Then a little bit further down, I'm going to shrink so it can make it go back that way, and then straight down. See if it works. All right, so I wanted to show you guys how I eventually got to the smooth firewall here. And it's pretty much the process that I followed with this, but so with these over here, with this one, I did like paper cutouts, and then did the paper cutouts. Then I put it, transferred it onto steel. That's because this one's the driver's side, but I always kind of write down what you're doing, where it's at, because these, I mean, they look similar, but one is for the driver's side, the other one's for the passenger, and see how they look similar, but look at how far it's off. So remember to write down, and then the up side, the cab, driver's side, and then normally I write like engine side or let's say that. So I wrote engine side, so that's this side. Engine side, up, and driver's side. So it's on this side, but so I did that with that, and then I did the same thing with these big pieces, and I drew. The important part is this curve. You do the curve for the paper, and you draw it out, and you cut it out, and you put it on there. I bought these magnets. And these magnets are really nice. They hold the piece of paper in place as you draw it out so that you can cut it out. And I transferred the important parts that need to have holes. This is a support for the inside for the dash, and then the bolt for the fender, which are these two. And then on this side, I'm going to be using the stock heater. So I kept these holes. The ones with a triangle are important holes for me. I did that so I wouldn't weld them. And don't ask me why I do that. I have these other ones that were, I needed them, and I got, I guess, weld happy, and I started just welding all kinds of stuff. So I learned, and I put triangles on ones that not to weld so I can keep them. And these are the ones that I'm going to use for the heater. And that one, and these, and obviously the ones for the fender. So I just kind of got everything in place, and you see this curve here. You want to get it as close as you can because it's all support. And then just spot weld. All these spot welds are just in place. I can either do I can do the full weld, which is what I would do is I'd spot weld some more and then just stitch weld where you don't want to go very far. Probably half this distance you want to weld. So just spot weld until you can get about half this distance, then you can connect them because of the heat. With sheet metal it'll warp it. But with this one I might just spot weld a little bit more. And all these seams I'll just put seam sealer at the end once it's done, as opposed to welding it all one piece. Initially, or from the factory, it came with rosette weld or spot welds, and it was spot welded. Imagine the whole length probably has, I'd say about 20 spot welds from the factory. So whatever you feel would be able to support that. I put a little bit more because this is 18 gauge steel as opposed to the 16 that was on there from the factory. So this is the other side here. And then I bought these. There's only some panels that you can have, replacement panels, so I ended up just connecting them here with butt welds. And this was all toasted. So the other side, this is what the other side looked like, or the other side, this side looked like the other side. Now it's all fresh steel. And you see how you just keep coming back and just do little spot welds. Eventually, I'll sand those down, I'll grind them down, and keep spot welding until it's all one big, looks like one big piece of sheet metal. And so this is the underside of the cowl. I for sure don't want any holes because the water will go through the outer cowl and it'll run through this as channels and go down the side and eventually land here. I'll be opening up that end because I don't want rust again. But this truck isn't going to be seeing much rain, so it should be all right for the life of the truck. And that's it for today. All right, guys, I decided to at least finish the video with a little spot weld in place. I know I'd want to see it. All right, when spot welding or welding, always have gloves. Always make sure your gas is on. I like to have these handy so I can just snap off the tip and have this sharp so it can create a good spark. Remember to jump around so all the heat doesn't just stay in one area. And then once you got your spot welds in place and they're cooled down enough, you can let go of this. Alright. Actually, remember to always have a good ground. Alright, you see how there's a little spacing here? Not a big deal. Grab your body hammer. So look at that weld right there. You can get a little clamp. There you go. Okay, I left this edge here. The closest spot weld is right here. So I can actually hammer this up and have this be nice and flush. I want this nice and flush here because the water's gonna hit here. And if I don't weld this flush, the water will find an area to squeeze through and then just leak inside under the dash. Alright, so that's spot welded in place. Excuse me. Come on. All right. Another tip when you're welding with carbon dioxide argon mix. Actually, whenever you're welding with any shielding gas, remember to turn it off at the tank. Because if you don't, by the next time you use it, it'll be empty because it always leaks through the actual machine. All right, nice and spot welded. Now I have a place to weld this to. All right. So that'll be welded there. And that's it. All right, I'll be later I'll do some other videos on how I made my stand for the shrinker stretcher. I'll make a video on how I made the stand for the shrinker stretcher here. And this is a truck. So far I've replaced, all this was rusty. Cab corners were rusty. Replaced the whole floor. This is a new floor. There's the interior. And then if you guys want to watch a video on how I made it from a small cab or a small window cab to a big window cab, I ended up doing the transplant here. I bought a replacement cab and I ended up just chopping off the whole top. I'll do another video for that. Thanks for watching, guys.